Hi everyone, if this is your first time here or you've come back to watch another video, welcome. I am Nikki from the Happy Loss channel and business. I'm an artist, photographer, cinematographer and sexuality educator. Here I create videos on sexuality and gender along with other topics for everyone to watch. This video is going to be a carry-on from my series where I talk about my research for my Masters of Sexology degree, which I completed last year, where I was looking at orgasmic capacity and experience for trans women post-genital surgery. Today we'll be diving into the sub-theme of orgasm after surgery. So let us get into it right after this. Here we are yet again, and yes, we will go through the important considerations concerning my research. If you know them already, then skip ahead. I will leave a time code for you to skip to. Also, I'll add a link in one of the corners to my last video on my research, which was on relearning how to orgasm. That aside, nowhere do I claim that participants' experiences are generalizable to a wider community. This is due to the methodology and the small number of participants who took part. The methodology of the research was qualitative. Just a reminder that everyone's experiences are individual and different. There may be similarities, but that is it. Also, that one person's experiences are likely to be atypical and cannot be generalized to a wider community. Next, on YouTube, I will not use names or pseudonyms, and I will generalize, where possible, people's experiences. If I do talk about an individual's experiences directly, I'll depersonalize and they will be simply referred to as participant. Also, as I've said before, this research was huge and I was not able to cover everything. Additionally, a huge big thank you goes out to all who participated in this research and shared their experiences and stories with me. Lastly, I do not believe and I do not suggest that reaching orgasm in any sexual activity is an absolute must, nor that it is and should be the ultimate goal of any sexual activity. I cannot stress these points enough. Okay, now we move on to where this sub-theme sits amongst my research. The broad theme that this sub-theme sits under is orgasmic capacity. In the broad theme, we are looking at the spectrum of orgasmic experiences across a participant's life from pre-hormones and surgery to post-hormones and surgery. As I mentioned before, this main theme has several sub-themes, which are the definition of orgasm, orgasm after hormones, relearning how to orgasm, how orgasm changed, and orgasm after surgery. So what are we looking at in this sub-theme? That is the sub-theme of orgasm after surgery. We are looking at when participants were able to orgasm, what their experience of orgasm was. Some of the things which we will talk about goes without saying, and some of it is not that obvious unless you think about it. To start with, after genital surgery, participants developed a different relationship with their genitalia. Essentially, they now perceived the genitalia to be in line with their gender identity, which enabled them to engage with the genitalia in a new gender-affirming manner. However, some participants initially needed to hold on to old methods to reach orgasm. For example, some participants enjoyed and were able to orgasm through penetration before surgery. For them to reach orgasm post-surgery, they needed to experience penetration to reach orgasm initially. They could not initially reach orgasm with clitoral stimulation. Additionally, the majority of participants experienced a prolonged period of numb feeling around the genitalia, which prevented them from reaching orgasm. Common experiences of the lead up to their first orgasm was frustration with waiting and worry if they will be able to orgasm. When they did experience their first orgasm following surgery, typically it was barely discernible. As I mentioned in the previous video, it probably was a combination of factors from not recognizing what the orgasm is and that the pelvic floor muscles needed to redevelop and strengthen. What was reported by participants concerning their orgasm post-surgery? In line with previous research, their orgasm changed from a typical idealized male orgasm to that of a typical idealized female orgasm, describing the experience as waves of sensation which for the most part incorporated the majority of their body. Additionally, participants went on to describe the experience as more than just a bodily experience, that it was now a mind-body experience. As one participant indicated, it was a bodily sensation and also a mental sensation. Well, researchers have unanimously noted that trans women on hormone therapy and post-surgery experience a shift in orgasmic experience, as mentioned, a typical male to a typical female. Not all trans women who are on hormone therapy and post-surgery experience this shift. One of my participants did not experience a change in orgasm, with it still situating in the realm of a male orgasm. Additionally, another participant talked about being able to switch between the two experiences. This next part of my research paper is a separate sub-theme. However, I thought it was more appropriate to include it in this video, along with what I've already covered today. So what I'm about to go into, I labelled as how orgasm changed. Participants were able to come to an understanding of their current orgasmic experience by comparing the differences in orgasm. In essence, participants were able to reflect on their current orgasmic experience with a positive and hopeful anticipation. This seemed to help them in sustaining a determination to persist in connecting with their genitalia post-surgery. In addition, the positive outlook aided in connecting with their new orgasmic experiences. This was especially true when considering that their experience of a male orgasm was intense and powerful, and yet the female orgasm was less intense and less powerful. Consequently, participants came to an understanding where they valued their female type orgasm more and found their experience to be more pleasurable. What did the participants say about the male orgasm? The majority described the experience as a powerful force that was painful at times, localized to the genitalia, and reliable. What about the experience of female orgasm? The majority indicated that the experience, as I mentioned before, was less intense but more pleasurable. That it had a slower build-up and a slower drop-off. While some participants suggested that the experience was a full-body experience, not all participants experienced orgasm as a full-body experience. Additionally, common amongst reports was that the participants needed to be present in their body and mind to experience an orgasm. There is not much to be said about the research into how the orgasmic experience changed, except that my findings are in line with previous research. Probably the most notable differences were that not everyone experienced an orgasm as a full-body experience, and for some they did not experience a change in orgasm. Also, very little research seemed to pick up on the painful experience for some of the male orgasm, nor looked at the valued nature of female orgasmic experience for trans women. Okay, so what is next? We go into the new theme of orgasm, pleasure, and self. The first sub-theme we will be looking at is the motivation for sexual activity. So right now, I'll remind everyone what I said at the beginning of the series and also at the beginning of this video. An orgasm is not the be-all and end-all, nor the ultimate goal of any sexual activity, regardless of gender. And I'll keep reminding everyone of these important points in each video. If you like this content and would like to see more on motorcycles, art and sex related content, don't forget to subscribe and press the bell to be notified of any updates. If you would like to support this content, give this a thumbs up or thumbs down if you like, and leave a comment down below. There is also my social media feeds, my website and merchandise site. All the links are down in the description. Until next time, bye.